In the cold darkness of space, a strange signal begins pulsing from an uncharted nebula. A lone exploration ship, Astra 9, detects it. The crew thinks it's a lost satellite, but the pulse feels alive, beating like a heartbeat. Astra 9 travels into the nebula. Electric storms flash like veins across the sky. The closer the ship gets, the stronger the heartbeat becomes. Suddenly, the ship loses navigation. Something is pulling them inward. Panic sets in as the crew fights to regain control, unaware of what lies ahead in the heart of the nebula. The crew stares in disbelief at the mesmerizing images on their screens, feeling a strange mix of fear and curiosity as they approach the source of the pulse. The sensors reveal abnormal readings, and the crew realizes that the pulsating signal is more than just a lost object. It's alive. As they attempt to communicate with mission control, the crew grapples with the unsettling realization that they may have discovered something extraordinary, yet deeply unsettling. Debating whether to proceed into the unknown or retreat, the crew feels a magnetic pull toward the heart of the nebula, wrestling with the allure of the mysterious entity. A massive shadow glides silently beneath the Astra 9 spaceship as it drifts through the swirling nebula clouds. The Astra 9 spaceship crew peers anxiously at glowing eyes opening in the dense cosmic mist. Then another appears, then dozens, each radiating a strange pulsating light that seems almost alive. A creature larger than a city slowly rises, breathing streams of burning stars like smoke across the dark void. The Leviathan's colossal form is revealed asteroid armor fused with nebula fire, its scales shifting constantly like moving galaxies. Its thunderous roar stretches across space-time, sending shudders through the reinforced metal hull. The Astra 9 spaceship crew notices ancient ruins floating nearby, shattered temples, and massive stone rings etched with serpentine carvings. This celestial predator once destroyed an entire spacefaring civilization, and now the Astra 9 spaceship crew fears they have disturbed its slumber after 1,000 years of silence. The Leviathan coils its massive serpentine body around the floating ruins, its chest glowing brighter with every pulse of energy. It is feeding from the cosmic power of the nebula. The Astra 9 spaceship crew realizes they have awoken it from a 1,000-year slumber. Engines scream at full power as the spaceship crew struggles to escape. But the Leviathan spreads its immense cosmic wings tipped with swirling black holes that tear space itself. Gravity distorts violently, dragging the Astra 9 spaceship backward. The creature's roar shatters reinforced hull windows, sending sparks and debris flying across the bridge. Captain Leora rushes to a sealed chamber, unlocking the null core, a forbidden weapon capable of erasing matter. Using it could destabilize the nebula, yet hesitation could mean certain destruction. The Astra 9 spaceship crew braces for the impossible, their hands trembling over controls as the Leviathan coils closer, its scales glowing like nebula fire. Tension grips every member of the crew as the colossal predator prepares to strike. The Astra 9 spaceship charges the unstable null core, its energy matrix flickering violently as the Leviathan lunges forward, swallowing streams of burning stars and cosmic debris in its immense path. The Astra 9 spaceship crew struggles desperately with controls, dodging gravitational waves radiating from the beast's colossal body, which twists space itself. Sparks fly across the bridge as metal panels tear loose, groaning under immense stress. Captain Leora grips the firing console, heart hammering, and orders the null core to release its energy, knowing the blast could destabilize the nebula entirely. A beam of pure void energy erupts, piercing the Leviathan's chest. Its roar echoes across space-time, distorting light and sound. Cosmic dust swirls around the ruined nebula as the creature dissolves, leaving the area eerily calm and revealing a newborn star at its center. Exhausted and trembling, the Astra 9 spaceship crew floats amid the wreckage, barely alive, stunned by the immense destruction and raw power they have survived firsthand in the void. The nebula slowly stabilizes after the Leviathan's fall, but the eerie silence feels wrong, thick with residual cosmic energy. The Astra 9 spaceship crew drifts carefully among floating ruins, scanning for unusual energy spikes radiating from the newborn star at the nebula's center. Suddenly, the star flickers, once, twice, like something massive is moving inside. Captain Leora orders all ship scanners to maximum range. A deep vibration pulses through the spaceship deck, as if the nebula itself exhales, bending space slightly around them. Then the ancient ruins begin glowing with cryptic symbols, etched millennia ago, reacting to the star's unstable waves. The Astra 9 spaceship crew realizes these markings are warnings, not decorations. A second heartbeat echoes through space, slower but heavier than the Leviathan's. The twisting nebula mist spirals upward, forming a luminous swirling path toward the star. Leora whispers in disbelief. The Leviathan wasn't protecting the nebula. It was guarding whatever is about to hatch. The newborn star cracks like fragile cosmic glass, releasing a blinding violet wave that surges through the nebula. When the light fades, a colossal silhouette emerges above the shattered star, its vast wings folded like shimmering dark matter blades. The Astra 9 spaceship crew watches in stunned disbelief as pieces of ancient ruins float toward the creature pulled by invisible gravitational threads. The fragments attach to its armor, forming glowing patterns across its titanic chest. Navigator Rose stares in horror as scanner data reveals a swirling core inside the creature filled with thousands of trapped voices screaming in distorted echoes. The being turns its gaze toward the Astra 9 spaceship, its eyes blazing with ancient rage. Space around it bends, twisting the nebula winds into violent spirals. The crew instantly realizes this entity is not a newborn monster. It is a collector, a cosmic predator that harvests civilizations and absorbs their memories into its evolving body. The collector spreads its immense wings, and a violent gravitational pulse erupts outward, shattering nearby asteroids into drifting clouds of cosmic dust. The shockwave slams into the Astra 9 spaceship, throwing the crew off balance as alarms scream through the bridge. Navigation systems flicker, holographic screens distort, and metal panels tremble under the pressure. Captain Leora activates manual control fighting to stabilize the damaged spaceship. The collector opens its mouth not to roar but to whisper directly into their minds. Its telepathic voice is cold, ancient, and overwhelming. Images flood the crew's thoughts. Civilizations kneeling before the collector planets drained of oceans, entire skies collapsing into burning storms. Ro collapses onto the deck, clutching his head, overwhelmed by the visions tearing through his mind. The nebula dims as the creature absorbs surrounding energy, draining entire light fields. Leora realizes with terror that the star they thought was newborn was actually a prison breaking open. Captain Leora rushes to the sealed weapons chamber, her boots echoing across the metal corridors of the Astra 9 spaceship. She reactivates the unstable null core, its cracked containment rings sparking with arcs of violet energy. The device is still half drained from destroying the Leviathan, and its internal matrix flickers, as if resisting activation. Meanwhile, Engineer Vega reroutes emergency power from non-essential systems, forcing energy into the thrusters to give the spaceship one final burst of maneuverability. The collector releases a beam of distorted starlight from its wings, slicing through drifting debris and tearing into the Astra 9's hull. The blast grazes the outer structure, sending showers of sparks rippling across the bridge. Ro forces himself upright long enough to shout coordinates of collapsing points inside the nebula, weak zones that could trap the collector again if struck. But the creature senses their strategy and expands its body, releasing gravitational rings that lock the Astra 9 in place. The Astra 9 spaceship strains against the crushing gravitational rings as Vega forces the overworked engines to ignite at maximum power. The entire spacecraft trembles violently, metal groaning under the pressure as warning lights flash across every console. Captain Leora clutches the unstable null core, its containment shell cracking with arcs of swirling void energy that threaten to tear the device apart in her hands. The collector lunges forward with massive claws formed from swirling cosmic shadows, each swipe bending space like liquid around its monstrous frame. Leora slams the null core into the firing cradle and locks the mechanism, shouting for Vega to hold the ship steady, no matter the cost. The null core charges, releasing spirals of unstable light that twist through the nebula. With a final surge, Leora fires. The blast erupts in a violent vortex of void energy tearing through the collector's chest and triggering a collapsing rift that drags the monster inward as it screams across dimensions. The collapsing rift spirals violently as the collector's massive form is dragged deeper into the churning void, its distorted screams echoing across fractured space. The Astra 9 spaceship hurtles away from the implosion engines, overheating as Vega forces every remaining reserve of power into the thrusters. The nebula twists into a storm of shredded starlight, gravitational waves slamming against the hull like invisible tidal forces. Captain Leora shields her eyes as the collapsing rift detonates in a blinding burst of cosmic distortion, sealing the collector inside a compressed pocket of folded space. When the violent light finally fades, the nebula falls eerily silent, its swirling colors dimmed and trembling from the catastrophic event. The nebula settles into a dim, unstable calm as the Astra 9 spaceship floats through the drifting remains of shattered star fragments and fractured ruins. Emergency lights flicker across the damaged corridors, casting long shadows over exposed wiring and cracked panels. Engineer Vega moves through the ship with quiet urgency, sealing ruptured vents and restoring partial life support, while Ro recalibrates the navigation array that was distorted by the collector's final gravitational shockwave. Captain Leora stares out the reinforced viewport, watching faint pulses ripple across the nebula's core, each one hinting that something deeper is still stirring within the cosmic fog. The newly sealed rift vibrates with faint, echoing tones, almost like distant breathing. Leora opens a secure channel to command, sending a detailed report of the events, the monsters and the null core's unstable condition. As the transmission leaves the spaceship, a final tremor ripples through the nebula, suggesting the darkness they encountered was only the beginning.